Hi everybody.
Hello everyone.
Welcome back to Sleep Granted ASMR.
Today we're going to be doing a bedtime story.
To help you fall asleep.
We're going to be doing the Snow Queen.
So any of you Frozen fans, this is what Frozen is based on.
Yeah, it's not exactly the same plot as Frozen. It kind of even has some Narnia elements, but it's good, it's nice, it's fun. I guess we'll start.
Let's give it a shot.
At the top of the world, near the North Pole, there is a city full of higgledy-piggledy houses made of wood. The houses are built so close together that no one has a yard. Instead, people climb up onto their rooftops and grow roses among the roof tiles and vegetables in chimneys.
A boy named Kay and a girl named Gerda lived next door to each other in the middle of the crowded city, and they played together on the rooftops. Every morning, Gerda tiptoed across the tiles and climbed into Kay's bedroom window.
They loved playing hide and seek and I spy, but most of all, they loved looking after the roses that grew in the gutter. Kay's grandmother taught them how to water the flowers and keep them healthy, and as they worked, she told them stories.
Have you ever heard of the Snow Queen? She asked them one sunny day as bees buzzed through the trees. She rules over snowflakes, like a queen bee rules over other bees. On a snowy day, look out your window. You might just see her. She used to be an ordinary girl, but one day a splinter of ice pierced her eye and turned her heart ice cold. Now she lives all alone in an icy castle, and she's always looking for children to take home with her and keep her company.
That winter, a blizzard kept the children inside for days that turned into weeks and months.
Wow, it's a long time.
Kay was gazing sadly out his frosted window, wishing he could play with Gerda, when he saw something moving among the snowflakes. It was a woman. She looked human, but she could not have been because her skin was ice white and her hair was made of snowflakes. He opened his window and whispered to her, "Are you the Snow Queen?"
She nodded and whispered, "Come with me." Kay shook his head. He tried to shut his window, but before he could, the Snow Queen blew an ice-cold wind into his face. A shard of ice as tiny as a tear pricked his eye, and another piece his heart. In an instant, Kay's world was transformed. His eye could see only ugliness. Oh, and his heart could feel nothing but sadness. Poor guy. What's wrong? His grandmother asked.
"Go away," Kay shouted. "I hate you. I hate everything." He ran out onto the roof and ripped the rose bushes out of the gutter and threw them onto the snow-covered streets below. The only thing Kay could bear to look at was the snow itself. He followed the snowflakes out onto the street and noticed a sparkling sleigh parked in the sleepy market square. Sitting in the sleigh was the Snow Queen, wearing a coat of white fur. Kay was not scared of her anymore. He climbed in next to her, and the sleigh shot off to the coldest part of the world.
Narnia.
I bet. Gerda looked for Kay through the winter, but the first buds of spring appeared and Kay still had not come home. Gerda walked down to the riverbank and whispered to the water, "Have you seen Kay?" The river did not reply, but Gerda saw a red rowing boat at the river's edge, bobbing on the water, as though it was waiting for her. Gerda climbed in and the river rushed her away to a beautiful garden filled with flowers. A woman with a rose in her hair was waiting on the riverbank. "I have been waiting for you," she said, leading Gerda down a jasmine-scented path.
It's very floral.
I like it.
Me too.
Gerda looked back over her shoulder, but thickets of thorns had closed in behind her, and she could not see the river anymore. "Stay here with me," the woman said. "It is always summer in my garden."
But the rose in the woman's hair reminded Gerda of Kay. "I have to find my friend." She pushed her way through the thorns and flowers and ran out of the garden before the woman could stop her. Outside the garden, leaves were falling from the trees, and there was a chill in the air. Is it fall already? Gerda thought. She did not have any warm clothes to wear, so she hugged herself against the cold and looked around, trying to decide which way to go. A crow flew down and landed on her shoulder. "Are you looking for a little boy?" asked the crow. "Yes," said Gerda, obviously.
"He's at the princess's palace. Follow me," said the crow, soaring into the sky. Gerda followed the crow through the fields and forests, across trickling streams and roaring rivers. The sun set, turning the sky pink, then red, then night blue, speckled with stars. "How much further?" Gerda asked the crow. Not far now, but Gerda's eyes were starting to feel as heavy as stones. "Stop!" shouted a voice. Gerda's eyes jolted open. A highway robber, a girl in a fur coat and black mask riding a reindeer, was charging at her through the inky black night. "Help!" Gerda called, but the crow cawed goodbye and soared into the sky, wings as black as the night. "Give me your money," shouted the highway robber. "I do not have any," said Gerda.
The highway robber jumped down from the reindeer and looked at Gerda more closely. "Sorry," she said at last. "I thought you were the princess." "Well, I'm not," said Gerda. "I am lost, and I'm tired, and I'm looking for my friend." "Is your friend a little boy?" said the highway robber. "Yes," said Gerda. "Have you seen him?" The highway robber nodded. "He was with the Snow Queen last night. She has taken your friend to Lapland. My reindeer knows the way." Then she took off her fur coat and wrapped it around Gerda's shoulders. "Don't you need it?" Gerda asked. The highway robber shrugged. "It's not mine. I stole it this morning. Now, go and find your friend before it's too late. I'll stay here."
Gerda climbed onto the reindeer's back and held on tight as she raced through the fall and into the winter. Gerda had never been anywhere as silent as Lapland. Snow shrouded the ground, muffling their steps, and icicles hung from the trees like jewels. She slid from the reindeer's back and walked towards the Snow Queen's palace, which rose up before her, sharp and smooth, like the blade of a knife. She could not see a door, but when she reached out to touch the icy wall, it slid open, revealing a snowy passageway. Gerda walked inside. "Hi?" she called.
A voice, tinkling like ice cubes in a glass, replied, "This way, my dear." The Snow Queen was sitting on a throne in a vast, empty room. Kay was sitting on the floor, playing with building blocks made of ice. He looked up when Gerda walked in, but she could tell he did not remember her. "Stay here with us," said the Snow Queen. She took a deep breath and blew ice into Greta's eyes, but Gerda turned away, and just in time, too. She rushed over to Kay and hugged him, and as she did, the warmth of her body melted the ice in his heart. He burst into tears which washed the ice from his eyes.
"Gerda," he said, "I feel like I have just woken up from the strangest dream." "Let's get out of here," Gerda said, taking him by the hand. "Stop," called the Snow Queen, but the children were too fast for her. They raced across the slippery palace floors and climbed onto the reindeer's back. The Snow Queen was so sad to see them go that she began to cry too, and as she did, her tears melted her snowy heart, and she dissolved into a puddle on the ground.
That's so sad.
Oh, she's the villain. Gerda and Kay held tight to the reindeer, and as they rode, they noticed the snow had disappeared, and it was fall again. Someone was waving to them from the side of the road, the highway robber. Gerda gave her back her fur coat, and she led them back to the rowing boat on the river. "Get home safely," she called. The red boat sailed up the winding river, and at last they were back in the crowded city with its higgledy-piggledy houses.
Kay's grandmother was waiting for them on the riverbank. "You have come home," she cried, hugging them tight. The first buds of spring were bursting on the bushes, and the cherry blossoms on the trees seemed to have bloomed just for them. "Winter is over at last," Kay said. He took Greta's hand, and they ran up to the rooftop to play as if they had never left. And that is the story of the Ice Queen.
The Snow
Queen.
Snow Queen.
The Snow Queen. Also kind of has a Narnia vibe, but we'll just say it's frozen. We hope that you enjoyed. Hopefully you're asleep, because then we did our job and sleep was granted.
We hope to see you in another video for another good night.
And another bedtime story. Sweet dreams.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.